Algeria is once again at the forefront of youth empowerment by hosting the African Youth Forum 2024 from November 1st to 4th in Oran. Themed "A Million Opportunities to the Next Level, African Education Fit for the 21st Century." The forum brings together youth to explore strategies for building stronger educational systems across the continent. The event, rooted at the Youth Charter or African Youth Charter and the African Union's Agenda 2063, will focus on equipping youth to address educational challenges, provide them as well with opportunities in different fields while contributing in sustainable development and peace in Africa. Hello there, dear viewers, and welcome to our special program, Eyes on Africa. Today in this interview, we're hosting a special and distinguished guest, a young figure, Ms. Lahyani Mazhoura, the coordinator of the Algerian African Dialogue and Good Neighbor Network. Hello there and welcome.
Hello, thank you, Islam, for receiving me. It's an honor for me.
Pleasure to have you with us. So first of all, education is key to Africa or any other nation. My question is, how can we improve educational opportunities to empower African young generation, and what challenges do African youth in more particular face?
Okay, for me, as you said, education is the main key to all other developments in all the world. So in Africa, from my point of view, I think that the main challenge is that the education, we stick in Africa in the old system of education. So this system is focusing on creating workers instead of innovators, instead of creators. So this is the main problem. The main problem in Africa is not that the lack of opportunities. Africa have a lot of opportunities and we can explore a lot of fields in Africa. But we're still stuck in that old system, and we need the government, we need all this system to involve to help us do it, to help us do this change, because we have a lot of leaders in Africa. They are strong, they are very genius, and they can make a lot of change in our continent. So we have to start this, we have to work on it. We have to explore this education system is the main and the first step. Mandela and all other Pan-African leaders talked about education, that is the key for development. So we need to work on it, and Africa needs to show that they have these leaders, and all students must now recognize that we have to explore other challenges. We have to rethink the educational system, to make it more practical, to focus on entrepreneurship, to focus on other fields that when we graduate, we find ourselves, we create the opportunities ourselves. Instead of waiting for others to create the opportunities for us, we have to create the jobs. We have to create these opportunities for ourselves and explore them.
So with the African Youth Forum being held in Algeria, coinciding with the historic 1st of November revolution, how has Algeria, who has always been a strong advocate for change, supported key issues like education and crisis resolutions in the continent?
Yeah, for me, Algeria is the mecca of revolutions, and Algeria also is the beacon of the fight for freedom. And we have many leaders, African leaders, and many Pan-African leaders who have trained in Algeria. They started studying in Algerian universities, and then they serve their countries. They come back to their countries. Yeah. We have Nelson Mandela, we have all figures that we know in Pan-African movements. They come to Algeria, especially to visit it, and even to explore, we can take, for example, Mariam Makeba. She even gave a song here in Algeria. Algeria inspired many leaders, many African leaders, so we cannot ignore the role of Algeria. And for Algeria now is investing in the future of Africa, in the future of education in Africa, because Algeria understood one point, like Kwame Nkrumah said, Africa must be united. And for me, I think that Algeria understood this point and started working on it, started explore many fields, and started to open up to Africa, because we know that we cannot wait for others to come to Africa and take all the resources and all the riches we have here in Africa. We have to open up for Africa and must be united.
So, as part of the young generation, we all know that African youth are at the heart, at the core of Africa's change. So, what impact do youth movements in particular have on promoting democracy, for example, and peace?
You know, I love saying one thing, that Africa have only its children to build its future. So instead of waiting for others, like I said, we have to be the actors of change. We have to start acting instead of waiting. And we have, for example, Algeria is the main example, like we can take about when we talk about young movements, and for this forum, which will be handled in Oran. And all these young movements are an example to show, and they are in the heart of this transformation. So we cannot not talk about it. It's important now to start like Algeria must be the leader, because in Africa we always take, for example, and to take for our leader, we say outside of Africa, but we have many people to look at and say, okay, he can be my leader, he can be the person I can copy for, do like him. Yes.
Yeah, in terms, sorry for interrupting, in terms of change, let's talk a little bit about the African Union's Agenda 2063. Youth play major role in Africa's long-term vision. So how can young people, young generation in Africa, help achieve the agenda of the African Union 2063?
Yeah, you know, young people they have this energy, this creativity and innovation, so we can help the agenda of 2023, first of all, to raise this awareness about it and make all the people around us understood what is this agenda and what is working about, and to encourage them to help us like work on it. And also, if we talk about entrepreneurship and all practical things, we have to create the jobs. We're talking about education, and to explore, like we have a lot of startups who started now in Africa. So to help this agenda of 2063, it's important for us to work on it, especially the youth, because even in the agenda, they always say that we have to focus on youth because they are the future of Africa. You know, in 16% of African population under 25, we have
60%. You mean
60% of population in Africa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They are under 25 years old. So we are the future of Africa.
Exactly. So let's talk about, youth. Since we're talking about youth here in general, political representation is crucial for shaping Africa's future, especially amid the turmoil that the world is witnessing right now. How important is youth participation in the political arena, or the political landscape of Africa, especially in decision making?
You know, in decision making, we talk about youth. We know that, as we said, we were saying exactly that the 60% of Africans are under 25. So we live these challenges every day. We're facing these problems. And when we talk about the political decisions, we are talking about the future of the generation. So we have to be included in this decision making, because it's simply our future. So we cannot just focus on the old person. The generation now, we have to take this responsibility. And I think it's Kwame Nkrumah said that in Africa we need a new generation to work on the future, because we talk about unity, we talk about education, we talk about all this, but we have to include the gender equality, and we have to include also the youth, the role that the youth play in politics, in economics, and all other fights.
Mm-hmm. So Africa's youth are being part of, let's say, developing the continent, as you have just mentioned, especially, let's take an example in technology and entrepreneurship. So in these two fields, what opportunities are available to African youth today? and how can they be maximized for long-term success?
Yeah, when you said opportunity to me, you made me think about the Conference of Berlin and the scramble for Africa. So today we are not going to redo the same mistakes. We are not going to let them come and take every resources here. Now we have to take our responsibilities and we have to work on it. Africa is full of opportunities. It's like a field. We can explore everything. Mm-hmm. Now we are assisting to create mobile phone technologies, mm-hmm. e-commerce, e-banking, e-learning platforms, and we have all the tools that we need to explore them.
Mm-hmm. So
yes.
We know that Africa is home to a remarkable young figures who have made, let's say, a difference through their contributions. Can you share, let's say, an inspiring success story?
An inspiring success story, I will talk about Toussaint Louverture. I know that it's sad because many Africans don't know him because he's the leader of the first nation, of the first black nation in in Les Antilles. Yeah. But it's an inspiring story for me, and all Africans know about him. Have to know about him because he born a slave, and he tried to learn how to write, how to talk, how to write and read, and then he liberate all the people, and he, let's say, lead all the groups like in that time to create the first republic, to create the first black republic. So for me, it's so inspiring. His story is so inspiring.
Yeah. So lastly, what message would you, let's say, send to African, to the African young generation in general through their role in building a stronger and more prosperous continent?
My message for the youth today is so simple. I would say that it's our time now and we have to work. We have to be the leaders that we want. We have to make the Africa that we want. We have to make this Africa that we dreamed of, the Africa that stand in the world stage. So this is our responsibility and how we have to start working on it today.
So thank you so much for the rich insights, and thank you so much, dear viewers. Stay tuned for more insights in the upcoming interviews, and also you can always check our social media platforms for more updates. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.